There we go. Okay. So Erica, what have you enjoyed? Well, how many Atlassian events have you gone to in the past, and what has been your favorite thing about Atlassian events?
Yeah, so the first one I went to, I was not a community leader, and that was pre-COVID. And then I did a couple of virtual COVID teams, and then I've attended the last three that we've had in person in Vegas. So this will be first Anaheim ACE or first Anaheim team, which I'm super excited for.
Very.
But yeah, so I've had kind of the experience of attending virtually and also in person. Really recommend in person as much as you can if it's possible. But really had so many great memories. I would say for me, in regards to like actual content memories and not just like the fun in between stuff that I love, was really last year's keynote session on AI. Being a woman in the technical field, it was so empowering to see these amazing women on stage, speaking about AI in such an intelligent way and an exciting way. And so for me, that was just like super powerful moment. Really, really loved it. And then I think outside of that, I've loved running into people that I haven't seen since the last team. Like that is so fun to be able to see these people in person. Not only like my local Boise community members. I'm based in Boise, Idaho, for those of you on the call. I always get to run into some of my local community members, which is so fun. But then all the people across the world that it's like, all I see is their little box on a screen.
It's the Slack icons, and that's all you get used to.
So like the networking is just like so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. The keynote's always good fun. I think if you want to hear and see what Atlassian and the rest of the kind of ecosystem are doing, then that's where you need to be to hear it first. I know that they do record them, and especially for me here in the UK, if you want to be up at, I don't know, midnight, 1 o'clock listening to those keynotes, then you crack on, but I wouldn't. But I think the networking is brilliant to see, and it's always really nice on like the day two, so like the Thursday when they do the second keynote, where it's more of like an interview with. They've had celebrities in the past, and this year they've got James Vowles for any F1 fans. He'll be out there doing that as well. So I really like being able to just kind of hear kind of real world scenarios and experience that for sure. But awesome. Okay, so what are you thinking, knowing that you've been to quite a lot, both in virtual and in person? What do you think that they'll probably announce this year?
I think that there's going to be the new navigation obviously is going to be, I think, front and center. If you guys are not aware of that, that is coming hot and fast. So if you're on cloud, make sure you're up to date on the new navigation. So I think there'll be a lot of sort of conversations about that, but they've been teasing that for a while. For me, I think that they're going to have something around like the Ops Genie piece, right? So if you were an Ops Genie user and you were a Jira Service Management user, they're moving all of those functionalities into Jira Service Management. And I can just see them continuing to try to expand upon that and make that better. And so I really do feel like there's going to be something in that realm. They're just continuing to just improve Jira Service Management, the way it connects with Compass and assets and all of those pieces, and now bringing in Ops Genie actually just into Jira Ops, right? Yeah. I could see so much more possibility for better integrations with the on-call and alerting and things like that I think we'll see some really cool things there. Being a software company, like we're very excited about, okay, what is this going to look like and how are things going to improve?
So I think on that, do you remember when they first got Ops Genie and they tried to release the Jira Ops project, but you know how very quietly it just kind of simmered away as much. Yeah, just gonna let that one die. It was very, very quiet. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see that they've kind of acknowledged that it was like their version wasn't enough. They've kind of taken it back and they've present, like what they've done so far with all the following acquisitions, with the pro forma forms, when you think about buying the Mindville assets, they've created a very, very good comprehensive JSM suite now. So it's really nice to see it, rather than being, like you say, standalone products. It's much more of a cohesive service management project or product. Sorry. So I think
and I think, even bringing in like the virtual agent, right, and improving upon that. Now, being a Microsoft Teams person and company, I hope that they improve that side of it. I'm like, I know Slack is the new hot thing, right? Or not new, but like, I'm like, Teams is here too. Don't forget about us.
Yeah. I mean, it's always nice to see that they do think about Slack first, being a Slack user. But yeah, I can definitely appreciate it. I mean, the vast majority of Europe is Teams, and we always, whenever I'm speaking to partners, they're always like, "Oh, have you got anything for Teams?" Because like the normal Atlassian one just doesn't work. So yeah, that is good.
Oh, it's so terrible. It's awful.
Yeah. But I hope that gets better. I was lucky enough to go to High Velocity in London, obviously being so close, a couple of weeks ago. So we started to get a bit more of a glimpse of kind of what they may try and announce at Team. They very quietly ran out some screenshots of new runbook functionality, where like you'll be able to automate entire runbooks, and they showed off some other kind of cool new little things for automation. So hopefully we just see them continue to build on that and do some more stuff for JSM as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great chat. So, I mean, we've got in the chat, what have we got? Curly Suve said, I'm sorry if I butcher anybody's name, by the way. But believe they or hope they're going to talk more about Atlassian Home. They have, but ever since they just kind of like that start.atlassian.net page was launched, it's gone so quiet. And we've seen how Atlas has kind of grown into this thing, and it's changed over time. They just always seem to like let some of these things kind of just exist without really talking about them.
Yeah, I mean, like you can see, like Atlas is now projects and goals, right? If you've seen on your admin side that's sort of switching. So it's like Atlas as it lives solo is sort of disappearing. So I agree. I mean, maybe talking a little bit more about what Atlassian Home means, right? If that's really where projects and goals are going to live, and how does that tie in to the larger ecosystem? I know they're trying to make it as like, hey, everything is here, and you have your updates in Confluence and Jira and all of these places. But for me, like, I really haven't found it useful. Now, Atlas, I love, coming from like a project manager background, I'm like, yes, let me give you my tweet update. But sort of having this Atlassian Home, what does that mean now? I think goals can be OKRs, right? But then you still have, Jira Align. And so something that's a little bit heavier of a lift. So how does that work? So I think having something with Atlassian Home would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a big fan of them. I mean, I never had to do it as a project manager, luckily. But status meetings were a pain in the ass, and giving a tweet-sized update, but like, do not attend. We do not need another hour to sit there and talk about a backlog. But no, that was good. I always enjoyed that one. For sure.
And I see Andrew's bringing up the data center depreciation. They've got to announce at some point, right? Like, they've got to just be like, here's the date at some point.
Yeah. It's always a really tricky one, though, because they've still got a huge amount of revenue tied to data center. When you think, they said server's going to die after, what was it, 4 years that we had for a lead time. It's a really good lead time for that sunset, but people were like, we're not ready. We haven't done the work we needed to. So just bought data center. But now they've got all these customers stuck on data center, and its server started to die in 2014. I mean, Sticky, you would know for sure. But I just think it's they have to kill it at some point. I think that they've got to probably hit certain more milestones before they probably announce it.
For sure.
You've got to get some of your compliance ones in there. So FedRAMP moderate and high will be huge key indicators. I think that they have to do more around data residency, getting things like Middle Eastern options out there, because I know that's stopping a lot of customers move or thinking about moving. So I think that those need to be hit before they can probably announce it. Otherwise, I think that they're just going to end up shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They need to complete the private Atlassian cloud option. Yeah, that would be very interesting. I would like to see that option. Going back to that kind of that method, but
man, as a company though, I would not want to maintain that. That sounds terrible.
I was just thinking about the exact same thing there. It's interesting. Jimmy doesn't think they would do something at such a large event. I don't know. I mean, the backlash would be huge, but we also got to wind back, like, was it 2-3 years when they decided to have a major incident right during the middle of the keynote.
That was fun.
Wiped out like 90% of people's assets. So, I mean, we'll see what actually happens. But and finally, we had a few more that I just wanted to call out. Jimmy, I imagine something AI. Well, I mean, that's got to be a given right now.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I won't bet you any money on that one, Jimmy. I think you take the cake there on that. Yeah.
For sure. But no, I think it will be interesting to see what kind of AI functionality they release. Like I said, when I went to High Velocity, they showed a bit more around how Assist will be available in more and more places. They're saying things in emails. They're showing widget connections. So that'd be quite cool. I would be interesting for those that are on a line, how much kind of like their AI will go into a line, looking at, like you said, like goals and OKRs, being able to then kind of look at your previous tree, work out how you kind of style work and create that initial structure. That might be quite cool. But it'll be, I imagine there'll be something AI for sure.
I'm sure they'll talk a lot more on like Rovo, right? Like Rovo is still very new. You know, I know when I'm talking to like my CSM, it's still something that they're pushing. So I'll be curious to see what they expand upon there to make it more. I mean, from our perspective as a company, it's just never something we've been interested in. I see the benefits, but like for us, we're building that stuff internally. So like, why should I pay you when we're building it ourselves? But you know, there's definitely going to be maybe smaller companies that it would be useful for, or companies who aren't, you know, investing everything in Gen AI, which, you know, I don't know which company's not, but
yeah, we are, you know, and I think it's really interesting just to kind of, when you start talking about people's experience with AI, even outside of like the Atlassian ecosystem, it's such a mixed bag review depending on who you've spoken to and the kind of things they've asked whatever AI tool to do. But I think at the end of the day, like it's a massive enhancement. It's not a replacement. And I think as you start to use it more and more, you kind of experience some of that and be like, oh, I don't have to spend hours doing research anymore because I've got a tool that kind of helps me do a lot of that. So we'll see. But yeah, that's definitely awesome. Okay, so let's take a bit of a turn. So we know that we've spoken about what our biggest expectations, our biggest announcements might be. But is there anything in particular that you're really like looking forward to being able to do in about 15 days away?
Let's see. What am I excited to do? I think, you know, for me, whenever I go to team, it's been a little bit different every time. I think the most important thing I would say is think about what your goals are now, right? When you're going, think about, you know, what is it that your company is struggling with, right? Is it the opportunity to Jira migration, which is, you know, my company, right? Is it you're looking at, you know, new add-ons and you really want to talk to a lot of the vendors, but really going in, I think, with a goal of this is sort of what I'm trying to accomplish. So there's been years where I've spent most of my time in breakout sessions dedicated to a specific thing, right? When I was trying to improve our usage of advanced roadmaps, formerly portfolio, but now plans, if you want to rebrand it another time. But last year, really, I spent most of my time, honestly, in the Atlassian section of the expo floor, really focused on, you know, talking to the Atlassians, talking to them about their products, chatting with them about Compass. Why should I do Compass over Backstage? You know, and really sort of having those conversations with them. And also, I maybe didn't make any friends and I provided some hard feedback. But, you know, I think for me, that's what I'm also looking forward to is really, you know, that's what they are there for, right? Like they want to hear our feedback, whether it's good or bad. I hope they do at least, but that's at least the experience I've had.
Yeah, and I think it's a valid one. When I've done Team as a solution partner, a customer, and now I'm working at a marketplace partner. So I've kind of been able to, I've experienced booth work, and I've experienced the customer side. I would definitely say, as a customer, there's a lot of value in being able to get your hands on something there, and then to try, be able to get to speak to the specific product owners of that. If you're going over to Compass when that was first announced, let's make a connection at Compass. Let's have someone that I can LinkedIn message or email or whatever it might be, if that you're trying to roll it out and you need some help. So I think there's some great value, and definitely enjoying some of the breakout sessions would be good around that. Yeah. Awesome. Dave, hello and welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry I'm late.
It's all right, don't worry. But actually, I'll just ping you the same question. What are you most looking forward to about this year's team?
The thing that I get the most value of, and I think Erica alluded to this as well, is connecting with the people I need to have in my peer network, both in the Atlassian ecosystem in general, Atlassian themselves, Atlassian partners, and customers, of course. So what I have personally learned over the years was to invest time prior to team to figure out who am I going to target for meetings at the event. Again, it could be people from Atlassian, people from the marketplace partners, people from a solution partner, whatever it might be, and reach out ahead of time to try to get agreement that we're going to try to meet each other at team, maybe exchange mobile numbers, or agree to communicate in some other fashion ahead of the event so that you can catch each other at the event. Yes. And one of the advantages of this approach is, even if you don't meet with the person you targeted at team, you now have a valid reason for following up with them after team. Hey, we missed each other at team. Let's connect now and have the discussion, whatever the discussion was that you were intending to have with them at team.
Yeah, I think that's really valid. Actually, I think I understand, Erica, you said that you spent most of your time in breakout sessions and things, or, you're at someone's booth physically trying. I think that the trouble that I've experienced more from working kind of like the booth side is, obviously your entire day could be going to a specific talk to be there, or like support a colleague, and then you're back at the booth. We miss a lot of that kind of like what's going on and hearing some experiences. But as a customer, there are so many different sessions that you may want to attend, and there's only so many hours in a day. So don't almost feel or like put yourself down maybe if you don't get to try everything. Just make sure that you've already chosen which one you definitely want to be there, and then if you've got time, which one's the next, because you still want to make sure that you've walked around the floor. You still want to make sure that you've seen all the different marketplace apps, or make sure that you've had your questions answered and things like that.
And Atlassian builds, breaks into the schedule where that can happen more easily. Time between sessions where you can go and visit the expo floor or visit the Atlassian booth, for example. But that's good advice, Dan.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so sticking with some really good help now for those that may be their first time this year. What would be the biggest lesson that you've learned over your previous experiences? What must you now remember for your first time? Is it make sure that you've got a big enough backpack or a big enough second bag for all that extra swag? What would you look forward to making sure that you teach?
Shoes. That's I would say my biggest recommendation is comfortable shoes. Yes, Andrew, exactly. So I think the other thing for me, I've learned not just through my Atlassian team days, but I'm also a big music festival person. So a lot of standing and walking at music festivals. Have at least 2 pairs of shoes, because your feet will get super tired in like the one pair that you have with all of the walking. And so if you could switch to another pair, just even having like a different pair, honestly, like just relieves your feet. I don't know, there's probably a science behind it, but that would be sort of my biggest recommendation, is just think through that and make sure you have nice comfy shoes. And then have a water bottle you can refill. There's refill stations everywhere. I assume it'll be the same way in Anaheim as it was in Vegas. And it was so nice to just like have it ready to go. And then if you are one of those people who likes to attend the evening events, I sometimes maybe frequent those. Have some liquid IV handy.
I think you might have saved me a few times last year.
I don't remember what we were talking about, Dan. I'm here for you. I usually have some extra packets, so if you see me on the floor. I actually will do like the immune ones too, right? There's a lot of people, you're traveling, everybody's traveling here, right? Like, so taking something for like, just like the immune support, liquid IV, or, whatever you have, vitamins, airborne, take something just to make it through the week.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Dave?
I would echo everything that Erica just said. And I would add, use the agenda builder in the Atlassian Team website to build your agenda ahead of time to keep your life sane, and build in breaks for yourself. So, it's important to go sit down, have a bite to eat. I mean, obviously the snacks and meals that Atlassian provides is a good opportunity to do that. But, just make sure you're taking breaks so that you can most likely be catching up on work-related things. That's what I typically do during my breaks. But still, it's a way for your mind to shift for a bit. And then consider using the Atlassian mobile app. It's not perfect. It's not great, but it's so handy to just have your schedule at a glance in your hand, as opposed to having to open up a laptop or something else to remind yourself what is your schedule today.
Yeah, so just for those that may not be aware, the mobile app should come out April 1st.
April 1st is what I'm hearing. Yeah, you'll be able to go to the your favorite phone store and download the Atlassian Events app for Team'25.
Yeah, awesome. So I think a few bits of advice that I would give. One would be, if you're not maybe wanting to take part in the social evenings, obviously there's still plenty enough to do around Anaheim and things like that, so you'll be fine. But if you find to yourself that it's a lot during the day, maybe it's a lot of talking and maybe that's not more your style, there are quiet areas. Go take a break, go enjoy like just a bit of peace and quiet. Conference floors can be very, very noisy, and there's lots of distractions and things. So definitely like step away where you need to. Also, you will, as Erica said, you'll be on your feet for 8-9 hours for that day. So go outside, get some fresh air. Give yourself like 15-20 minutes, because that circulated air can really take effect after a while. So just enjoy, get away for a bit. Okay, perfect. Let's just have a quick look at the chat and see what's some of the other suggestions were.
A lot of people are bringing up the brain dates idea, which is a great recommendation.
Yeah, so I think I've only ever taken part in one. Have you guys ever taken part in some brain dates?
Yeah, I've been scheduling brain dates ever since they offered it, and it's a great way. Well, let me say a little bit about my role first. So I work for an Atlassian marketplace partner that's part within a solution partner. And every time I go to Team, and I have in the past as well, and every time I go to Team, my goal is to do customer research. Like, what are their challenges? What are their roadblocks? What are the things that drive them crazy about the Atlassian platform? Or what do they love about the Atlassian platform? And brain dates is a great way to do that. I've set up 2 brain dates myself for basically project portfolio management folks, because I'm doing research on what are the challenges that people face, particularly in cloud, but I wouldn't ignore data center feedback as well. And so I set up 2 brain dates, and they're filling up fast. And I know I'm going to get tremendous insights and value from those brain dates. From the customer side, because I assume most of the people here are attendees as customers, what you get is networking with peers in the industry who have they were interested in the same topic as you, and insights from them, because inevitably what happens in those discussions, person A will bring up a challenge or a blocker that they face, and person B will say, here's how I worked around that. So not only am I getting great insight into what the customer challenges are, you're getting great feedback from your peers in the industry.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. What about you, Erica?
Yeah, I've done a couple of brain dates, and I've also really appreciated it. It's nice because they keep it small, right? So I think we had like 4 or 5 people, right? So you can have a little bit better of a discussion, and you can kind of pick and choose your topic, right? So like for me last year, like security stuff was really sort of a big concern, and so I went to sort of a security and compliance brain date. started talking about, okay, SOCs and SOC 1 and SOC 2, and really had some people who were like also had some knowledge to share, but also had questions. And so we had this really great group of people who were sort of just knowledge sharing. Here's my experience, and really just had a great conversation. So that's sort of the nice thing is like if there's something where you're like, I want to know how end users are doing this. Like, it's great to hear from vendors. It's great to hear from Atlassian, but like, who are these boots on the ground people who are actually implementing it, and how are they doing it? And I think that's what you get from those brain dates is you can kind of have that experience.
Yeah, it is the great opportunity to just hear very, like you said, the peers, the like-minded people, and not necessarily someone who's got some other ulterior motive, just someone who's done something and can be able to share that information. So that link I've just put in the chat for everyone, that's obviously the main team page. You should be able to find all your schedule information, and I think the brain dates are on there, but someone can definitely.
The brain dates are live. Yeah.
There we go. So we can also get that brain date page up, and but yeah, go see. Obviously, Dave's got 2, but there's loads and loads out there. Make sure that you definitely attend. It's a great opportunity to learn, for sure.
One cautionary note, and apologies to other Atlassian partners who may be on the call. Be judicious about the brain dates you sign up for. Look at the background of the person who's running it. There's no rule. Atlassian makes no rule about who can set up brain dates. So it could be, a salesman from XYZ company, and his purpose may be to try to sell you his product. And if that's not what you're interested in, you may not want to go to that brain date. So just look at the organizer's background and be judicious about which brain dates you pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just before we move on, let's have a look. So you were right. Lots and lots of feedback about brain dates. Tapiwa also says, I'm looking forward to learning more about Rovo and Confluence roadmaps. Yep, always love to hear more and more about what they're doing. A big lover of Confluence. It's definitely one of those little passions close to my heart. So it'd be nice to see what they're doing. I would like to see more around search improvements, APIs like support and stuff for Confluence, but we'll see whether or not that ever comes out. And then Jimmy, my advice is don't be scared to talk to vendors at booths. You aren't entertaining a commitment at Teams, so it's a great way to easily get information. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I was always nervous my first ones. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to try to sell me something and I have no budget. And and so I was always like so nervous to talk to vendors. But yeah, I would say, don't be so nervous about it, right? It can be really useful. And speaking from experience, you can win stuff, they usually enter you into some sort of drawing. So, if you want, I think, actually, I won a Nintendo Switch from my dance skills. Actually, I was playing that
your dance skills.
My dance skills, yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Amazing.
But many vendors, as you said, Erica, many vendors give away some really nice prizes, like 1 per day type of thing, or maybe one for the event.
Exactly.
That was mine. Well, my company is giving away an Oculus headset this year. I think that's somebody's going to win it.
Yeah.
Can't be me though. Can't be me.
So it's definitely get involved. As Jimmy said, you've got no obligations once you sign up. I mean, the reason I would go to walk around all the different marketplace vendor booths and stuff is usually someone in the business would have said, I really wish we had this kind of functionality. And it's just a great way of, you walk up and say, do you do something like this? And if they say, yeah, we do, you get to kind of see a little bit of a demo and you can walk away after 5 minutes and it's not the end of the world. So definitely give that a try.
Hey, I was the better dancer, Andy, and you know it.
Do you know what? I think at Team'25, I've got to see you and Fun Man have a dance competition now. I think we need a rematch. Yeah, definitely some great advice there. I found it refreshing to start a conversation with a vendor I am not intending to buy anything, but would love to know more about something. That's a really good opportunity.
Just be honest. I have no budget this year, but this might be something we do in the future, or maybe not.
It's a pain point my team is talking about, right? I mean, I know we all think that the system reporting and Jira dashboards is just the best ever, and nothing could ever beat it because Jira dashboards are just so amazing. But, maybe you have a team member who's complaining about reporting in Jira sucks. And so you could go, talk to the vendors that sell dashboard reporting and then way better products.
Yeah, definitely. It's an easy way of doing it. Just think about, and that's also really good. If you're going as a representative of your business, and obviously you're not going to be the only user, get loads of questions from your teammates saying like, what do you find that you're struggling with? And it will either give you a shopping list or things that you can immediately help your team out with because you've already got that functionality. So it makes you look even more like a hero. We love our admins. Okay, so Cremo, will the Atlassian community have organized Team'25 events? I haven't heard of anything yet. These events are a great way for reviewing Team'25 and also when you can't attend in person. I presume this is like the post events that follow.
The CLCs, probably. Yeah.
So there are London and the entire UK and Ireland communities are getting together in June for the first time ever, and we are running an entire UK CLC. Nice. So that'd be awesome, and that will all be for Team'25 for those that couldn't bring. So if you're in the UK, make sure that you're available June 6th.
Yeah, and I know many other Atlassian community chapters will do the same. We get nudged, encouraged, and cajoled by Atlassian to do a post team event for the folks that couldn't make it. And I think that's a great idea and good question.
Yeah. Amazing. Perfect. There we go as well. So we've got some other people falling in about the races. Okie dokie. So before I kind of come on, I'm not from Anaheim, so hopefully I can lean on my two Americans on the call. If I'm trying to travel to Anaheim, what is the best way to do it? How are you guys getting there?
Yeah, so this will be my first year flying. So I historically drove to Vegas because it was about a 10-hour drive. And so that was better for me. Most people are probably like 10 hours. Oh my God. But I loved it. It gives you an excuse to ignore the world for 10 hours, because I can't text and drive. So sorry. Anyway, yeah. So this year I'm going to be flying. So if you haven't booked your flights yet, this was actually a tip I got from somebody else, is if you fly directly into like the Santa Ana airport, which is the closest to Anaheim, it can be more expensive. But if you fly into if you're willing to fly into LAX, it could be a little bit cheaper flight, and then, take an Uber or a Lyft or something from the airport. So yeah, I am flying into Anaheim and I'm flying out of LAX is sort of my plan. And then, thankfully I'm staying pretty close to the convention center. So once again, not just walking around the convention, but getting to and from, right? You're going to be doing a lot of walking. And so that goes back to the shoes. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to be in Irvine, California the week before for an ACE event.
Oh, nice.
Orange County and Los Angeles ACEs are having a joint event the week before Team. Amazing. So I'll walk to Anaheim from Irvine.
Well, there we go.
Just kidding. It's not that close, but it's very close.
But I love here, it's like there's some international flights, there's a lot of people maybe driving in this case, and then if you live that close, yeah, in theory you could walk to the event. It's just not something that I would have thought. So there's a few people saying, Jimmy, LAX is the only flight option for me. So yeah, I can imagine that's quite common. The only thing I have heard is about the traffic trying to get out of LAX is not the most friendliest. So we'll just see. I guess it's a very much a probably 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, where it's like, you have to, it might be cheaper, it might be more flights, but you have to deal with traffic. And the other one is somewhat good. There we go. Fun man. I'm in the US. A 10-hour drive is sometimes a round trip for just one of us. Fish tacos and a soft shell crab. Oh my God, Andy. I'm not even reading the rest. You crack on with your 10-hour drives.
Mark, you had a question as well about the many of the vendors offer or organize after hours parties, for lack of a better term. They are also great networking events. You know,
Yes.
you go there, you eat their free food and consume their free beverages. But more importantly, you get to network with your peers in the industry again.
Absolutely.
That's one of the biggest reasons for going to an event like this. But there is no, as far as I know, one place you can go to see which vendors are offering which events on which days. You have to just keep your eyes and ears open pre and post event. I know we all get way too many emails, but many of us are probably getting emails saying, hey, you're invited to this party.
Right, yeah.
Just keep an eye out for those and just keep your eye out on the show floor. Looking for vendors that have signs that say, hey, we have an event on Monday night.
They definitely do that. Andy, I'm going to ask you in your chat, is your Trello board live yet? Look at that.
There it is.
Okay. So Andy has done this for the last couple of years. There is usually a Trello board. It doesn't give you your like the entire team schedule, but it will definitely give you some more of a key events. It has perfect. There we go. So there's at least some options in there. So hopefully this gives you some sort of clue of what may be able to go on. As you said, it doesn't cover everything, but it certainly will give you a good starting point to try things out on as well.
This is a great learning opportunity for me. I didn't know Andy's board was available to everyone. I thought it was just for us, the community leaders.
Oh, there we go. That's even better. Go give that a go. I've just somehow started Apple Music. Give me 2 seconds. Let's turn off that ridiculous song in my ear. I will be definitely making sure that I'm at those evening events. I will just this time be making sure that I take my own liquid IV and take that in the morning before I try and get down to the floor at 7 a.m.
One thing that I was thinking of was we were talking about like networking and how impactful that can be and how useful. I am really, and there's better people than me. I'll call out, I don't think Susan's on this call, but the G or Queen, wear your flair, like just have your buttons ready to go. Like you'll have your lanyard and you can kind of put all your buttons on there. But like for me, like I always have a button that says Idaho on it, right? Because I'm from Idaho, nice. Right? So people kind of know, you can kind of use that as a way to say like, where you're from, who you are, like, and just whatever your personality is. Like, I think I had like a unicorn one last year too. And I always wore my unicorn one. And so really take that opportunity. And if you have buttons at home you want to bring so you can flare up your lanyard, I highly recommend it.
I was just trying to see if I had mine lying around from last year because I had 1,000,001 buttons. I'm not quite on the Ronnie Neeson style where his entire thing is a button, but no, I definitely certainly had quite a few last year. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to call them to just make sure that we've checked everything. Speaking of Trello, there'll be a Trello Con, another ACE event. This is the one that Mike and who's it? I just need to make sure that. But yes, there we go. Yeah. We will hopefully see a good Trello Con in there with Brittany. Okay, let me just bring up the view again. Perfect. And Tisha says, really, I love Boise. Oh, Andy. Oh, there's only one.
He's not joking. I did send him a shirt that says, I love Boise, because people pronounce it wrong. And so it helps people because it's BOY-SEE. It's not Boise. It's not boys.
Oh, amazing.
I always thought it was Boise.
Le Bois. You can also, it's actually where it comes from is Le Bois. But yeah.
Yeah, I do. Curly points out, I wish each ACE chapter would have their own country city themed badges for leaders that they could give away. That would be quite cool. You talk about trying to have individual things.
I'll plug my ACE. I'm bringing buttons for my ACE. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think at Fire, for those that know, Ed Gale and I think we have some pretty cool stuff coming out with Atfire this year, so hopefully that would be quite cool to be able to go around. My face should be in a few places if it works. So I know I'm actually terrified about it, so we'll see whether or not it's come out. But we're doing Yeah, that's true. Actually, just because we're on this subject, I don't know why, marketing. There are some more random Atlassian marketplace or Atlassian marketing like things. I'm seeing them on like subways and stuff now, which is something that Atlassian's never done before. So I'm hoping that is getting bigger and bigger. I know they did some crazy stuff in Vegas last year about kind of dissing service now, so we'll see if they repeat it.
They're doing in New York City. They actually are doing train and subway wraps. It's pretty cool.
Are they?
Oh, Jira.
Crazy.
Amazing. Okay, so we've talked about our favorite memories. We've talked about what we're most looking forward to and how to get there. But of course, team always finishes with Bash. So it's only right that we finish with Bash. Have you two both attended previous Bashes, and what have you made of them?
Oh yes, it's so much fun. I always love dressing up to the theme. Last year was neon, and so I had this ridiculous rainbow wig on, and I let Christian borrow my pink wig. It was fantastic. And then I had glitter, which I will bring the glitter again. If anybody wants to be glittered at Bash, I will have it in my little fanny pack, and I'll be able to glitter people. And I will warn you, it may end up everywhere. Yeah. And so this year, Christian and I, who is the Salt Lake City leader, have been brainstorming some ideas. Oh yes, it is beach vibes. Sorry. But I will not reveal my secrets on what I'm thinking I'm going to dress up as. So, but have fun with it. Like, go crazy. Oh, I do have to think about what will fit in the suitcase, though. Dang. Maybe I should try it
echo
again.
what Erica said, and it's a very fun event every year. Atlassian does a really good job making the event enjoyable with entertainment and food and beverages and everything you might expect at an event like that. And it's fun to walk around. I like to walk up to people I've never met before and look at the name on their badge and say, "Hi, Mark, I'm Dave. What do you do?" Yeah. And maybe share, part of a drink with them while we're chatting, and then go on and do the same thing with someone else. You meet so many great people that way. I highly recommend it.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Last year was my first as a community leader. I've attended a few. I think the first one I did post-COVID, they had BMXers in the hall. They were just doing tricks up and down a half pipe. And they had some bands on. That was pretty cool. I think I still have, actually, hold on. This is going into my Atlassian 25 stuff. They had like custom hats, and they got all of the custom hats made. So I got all of those. But yeah, that was a good year. Neon was an awesome year. And we had, they had their bash party also in a nightclub in Vegas. Enjoyed that. We also had that private room just to the side, so I really enjoyed that. It gives us as community leaders a nice little area to be. Jimmy, I hide in the corner and watch people, which you clearly know is a lie. So,
well, Jimmy, don't tempt me. I have all of the pictures. It's from the year that hat was made. We've got some great ones. I think there was like glitter like everywhere. Was it your beard? Maybe it was your beard that was glittered. Yeah. But I do like Marco's point here too. Like they actually do have really good food, right? And they had like so much food, I think, at all the bashes I attended. So like you will be fed as well as beveraged. A word. But I'm a dirty American and my English is terrible. So
I will say this though. I agree that Atlassian does a great job with that sort of thing. They don't go on the cheap and they don't feed you a bunch of crappy food, but it's still buffet food. So find a day, a morning, breakfast, a lunch, a dinner during the week where you can just sit down and have a regular meal. Because otherwise you spend the whole week eating nothing but, hors d'oeuvres and buffet. It's good buffet, but it's still buffet.
Yeah. I think Bash is obviously is a really good opportunity. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for Beach Vibes this year and see. I was very disappointed they didn't do Disney, being how close we were to Disney. I thought they might, especially when I got very excited because one of my colleagues tried to book tickets for Bash night and Disney is closed due to a private event. So it was I was like,
nobody said Beach Vibes isn't happening at Disney.
That's true. That's true.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, so I was very disappointed because I saw that and I got all excited and I thought, I've got plenty of Disney stuff. My wife is way too into Disney,
especially for our non-American friends here on the ACE today. I think everyone's just hoping the F1 car is there.
Yeah, I'm sure they will have certainly a replica. I don't actually know where they're meant to be racing that weekend. I really should know the F1 calendar. I'm going to pull that up. But yeah, I am very much looking forward to hearing James Vowles, and I think they had some other people from their chat, and so that'd be quite cool as well. Pardon me, we have Euro Disney in Paris.
Yeah, I meant my European friends are much. F1 isn't as big here in the United States as it is elsewhere. That was the intent of my comment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that is all the things that I wanted to share. I mean, if there's any last minute tips that we can share to our friends in the community, what would they be?
Find a time to take a break. I think we mentioned this a little bit earlier too, right? There are quiet areas and stuff like that, but it can be a lot and a little amount of time. And so, it's okay to have JOMO, like joy of missing out. It's okay, right? Like, and take those moments as you need them, just to make the most of it and make the most of the experience. So, I pretend like I'm an extrovert. I'm really an introvert, and so I will.
Oh wow, me too.
Those moments.
Me too. And yet I make sure, because my number one tip would be network.
Yeah.
Don't be bashful about introducing yourself to people and finding out what they do. Tell them what you do. It's such a huge benefit to meet people and that you'll stay in touch with after the event in many cases, and share ideas and tips and tricks with. Don't be bashful. Meet people.
No,
don't just hang out with people that you already know. Look for new people.
Try. Yeah. I mean, definitely go say hey to anybody you know. It's a definite time that we all get to meet up, and like I said, it's kind of the annual reunion. But go experience other people. Go and learn their stories. Definitely, for sure. There was Jimmy points out, stop by the community lounge. Definitely, there's always one of us there. If not about 20 of us, we're all usually chilling out when we haven't got something else on. And Cremo, how about phone or mobile networks? Any affordable tariffs that can be there? So within the conference itself, there will always be Wi-Fi. It's usually okay. It's not designed for thousands of people to start doing Zoom calls. So depending on what you're trying to do, it probably should be fine. Otherwise, I'd personally recommend, and I can see Brutus put out a recommendation as well, which is good. I don't know, obviously, what kind of agreements your phone companies have, but mine, luckily enough, does like a £5 a day usage while I'm out there. So use the hotel Wi-Fi's where you can. Otherwise, just have a look and see. Pro tip, don't go late night drinking till early hours. I mean, that's the fun bit, Andy. You've got to do some of those. Definitely don't go late night drinking with Chris Crook or yourself. Yeah, that's fine. Team is like a big family reunion. Is one of the times of a year that we get to see each other. That's very true. Amazing.
I just want to say that fun man Andy almost certainly means, by pro tip number 1, just stay up all night. There's no reason to go to bed.
No, we all know the Andy in there, for sure. Okay, well, thank you very much, both of you, for joining me today. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you and all of our other community leaders and all of our other community members in about 15 days. So,
thanks for having me and for forgiving my lateness, my tardiness.
Not a problem. All right. If this recording will go up on YouTube later, but obviously, please, if you've got questions, reach out to your community leaders and they'll definitely happily assist you. Otherwise, we will see you all very soon. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye,
thanks,
everyone.
Dan. See ya.